Hello everyone, welcome back to Half Magic Tarot. Thank you for being patient with the upload. I spent about four or 5 days on a mountain with no internet service, so I couldn't really work on my tarot stuff. But I'm back now, and here we are, and today's book card reading is Your Life at Its Best. This is kind of a hopeful reading, just something that you can look forward to, like a peak moment in your life, or what will your life be like when it all kind of lines up and you're just in a really good place? What are the circumstances that happen around it? Things like that. So there are 4 piles to choose from. I suggest selecting the pile that sparks a memory in you. So for example, I would choose pile 4, the orphan, because it's kind of a running joke with my friends that I am an orphan because my family lives on a different continent. So during holidays and stuff, it's difficult for me to be able to go home. So like this past year, I didn't go home for like the winter holidays. And so everyone kind of like scrambles to invite me to their family gatherings, and so we have this running joke that I'm like the orphan. Where's the orphan gonna spend the holidays? So I will put the timestamps in the description down below. Feel free to pause the video now to select your pile, and let's get started. Yay! If you selected pile 1, the fault line, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are Justice, the Wheel of Fortune, the King of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands. For your tea leaf reading cards, we got Bird, Flying, and Bag. Okay, my pile 1, so what is your life looking like at its best? What's a phase of your life that you have to look forward to? We start off your spread with Justice, and what I'm hearing is that for a lot of you, you feel like you are constantly putting in work towards improving yourself, improving your life circumstances, and you really have been working diligently and hard, and you've been, mastering the craft that it takes in order to level up in certain aspects of your life. And for a lot of you, I think that this is in particular about your finances or your career. But there's this feeling of not really being recognized for the work that you put in. And Justice next to the wheel makes me hear that for some of you, you almost feel like you put in all this hard work and you're the one making these big strides, but then other people kind of seem to get things handed to them, or they get the praise that you feel like you've been working really hard towards, and that can be disheartening for you. I just got the message that for some of you, if you were in like a long-term relationship and you and this person broke up, it was like after the breakup, you did so much self-reflection and you figured out how to be comfortable by yourself, and you re-examined your approach to relationships, and you just have not found anyone that makes you feel loved or comforted romantically since then, but the person that you were in a relationship with has since moved on and they're seemingly like really happy. And it's almost like, well, it's almost like you get the sense that they didn't do any growth. Like maybe they screwed you over in the relationship, but they didn't work on themselves like you did. And it still feels like they came out on top. But that's a select message for a few of you. For others of you, like I said, this could just be feeling like you're putting all your eggs into a basket and you're working so hard to try to achieve something and you're not seeing the return of your labor. But the Wheel of Fortune is, it's cyclical. It's something that transforms feelings of being on the bottom into having, your 15 minutes in the sun, into kind of turning your luck around. And in particular, I think that's reflected in these next 2 cards, which is the King of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles, because I think that because you have been working so diligently towards your goals, and like I said, I think for a lot of you, this is self-improvement, or it could be something specifically to do with your career. You have put yourself into this King of Pentacles energy where you are someone who is really hardworking and diligent and kind of on top of your responsibilities, and you're making sure that the people around you are also cared for. You don't really drop the ball when it comes to your relationships with other people. So I'm hearing that for a lot of you, you're really good friends, or you really take the time to extend your energy and your resources towards other people. And because you have such a generosity about your character, it almost feels like karmically you should have, more to look forward to. And also in this King of Pentacles card, when it is turned to the side, it has a person walking across a bridge into something better. So definitely with the wheel, coupled with this King of Pentacles, the period of your life that's going to be really great, that you're going to really enjoy, is going to be a transition from feeling like you're not getting your karmic dues, or you're feeling like the work that you're putting in isn't bearing you the fruit that you wanted, and transitioning into something better. So what exactly is that transition? We have the Seven of Pentacles, which is a card of having your ducks in a row and having all of this effort that you put in and being able to see that there is potential rewards in the future, but it's just not quite ready yet. And the Seven of Pentacles can be really frustrating in a reading about something that you have been putting a lot of time in, because it's almost saying you still have to wait longer. But it's followed by this Queen of Wands, which to me is a card of confidence and energy, and someone who celebrates their life and allows themselves to really enjoy the things that they have attracted to themselves, or the things that they have accomplished in their life. And so I think you get to kind of step out of this energy of the King of Pentacles, which is a great energy to be in, but it's sometimes overly responsible in a way where it can feel like it's dragging you down. Like if you feel like I always have to work so hard for everything, it can be a little bit difficult to appreciate. But when you enter this really wonderful phase of your life, not only will you be finally seeing the returns on all of this work that you put in, but you will be able to kind of let go of the unnecessary pressure that you've put on yourself to achieve things, and just allow yourself to enjoy life and enjoy your accomplishments for what it is. So what does that look like? Like I said, for some of you, if this was about kind of the karmic cycle of a relationship that ended, I can see you taking all of this effort and time that you've put into yourself and waiting for a new person to come in who's worthy of all of the growth that you've done, all of the wonderful new aspects of the person that you are, and finding a lot of passion and romance and attraction and excitement in a new relationship that's evidenced by this Queen of Wands. And if this is about a person in particular, this could be an Aries or another fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, but most strongly Aries, or have a prominent fire sign placement in their natal chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. So if it is about your career and you feel like you've been working really hard on a project, or you've been working really hard to get your degree, or kind of establish yourself in a career field, and it feels like you just haven't gotten there yet, soon your hard work is going to be recognized, and I think that you will exceed more, not just because of your hard work, but because of your ability to kind of be a comforting presence within that field. Like if you're looking for a career path in particular, it's one thing to be an expert at what you do and to have all the knowledge and the resources and to have put in the time, but also there's a very strong impact to having a charismatic personality, to being a team player, to being someone that other people feel like they can get along with and work with and look up to. And I think that is the quality that you'll be stepping into, and you will find that people really admire you when you enter this new phase in your life. And another message that I'm hearing is that for a lot of you, this King of Pentacles energy that you've stepped into where you've really been working on yourself and improving your life, whether that comes to your career, your relationships, your self-concept, or whatever, is because there was a feeling of injustice in your past where you felt like you've been screwed over in some way. And I think for a lot of the people in this group, you're very much independent, kind of self-starter kind of people. And so instead of allowing yourself to ignore the cracks or ignore the hurt, ignore the kind of crumbles in the foundation that these feelings of rejection or these feelings of not being recognized for your input, instead of letting that crumble you have overcome it. And I think that's really shown by this pile marker that you selected, the fault line, because when I read the little guidebook for this particular card, it said something about the Japanese pottery art. When vases break, they will put it back together, and instead of trying to make it kind of perfect and seamless where you can't see the art, they'll do, gold in the crack lines, so you can see where the cracks were before, but you can also see how it was mended. And there's beauty to be found in the imperfections and the way that things are broken and can be put back together. And I think that is how you will feel once you enter this Queen of Wands energy at this high point in your life, where you feel like all of these, all this hard work I put in, all the feelings of rejection were ultimately leading me to the things that were for the best for me. And I think having that kind of positive mindset and being able to say that the things that happen to me that are difficult are ultimately lending to the mosaic of the beauty of my life. It's I'm weaving the tapestry of the story of my life, and it might not always be perfect, but it's always leading me to the place where I need to be. I just get there's a really great sense of optimism to this pile. For your first tea leaf reading card, we got Bird Flying, which says news is on the way. And so definitely I feel like this period in your life will be ushered in by news of something that you've been working towards coming into your life. So whether that's romance, a new job, a new career, or something else, even just feeling more established in your hobby, feeling like you finally got the hang of shading while you're painting, feeling like you've gotten a solid friend group, feeling like you are doing well in school or university, if that's what you're doing. Your second tea leaf reading card is Bag, which says something important such as a new job or raise. And like I said, I think that is represented in this wheel, your luck turning around and something new coming in for you, something that you've been working really hard for and been waiting for a long time will be coming into you. And all the struggle, all the waiting, all the times that you had to be patient when you didn't want to be will make this success so much sweeter. And you will be able to recognize the ways in which the misadventures of your life have contributed to this beautiful new section of your life that you're in. This kind of reminds me of a little bit of the situation that I've been in. So almost a full year ago now, I had this issue basically where I had to completely restructure my life in a very limited time frame. I had to move and get a new job and get a new place to live, and I was without my friends or anyone that I knew really. And now I am at a place in my life where I go on trips with my friends, and I have a job that I really enjoy, and I have a hobby, which I really enjoy doing. And I feel like I have things to look forward to, and it was really difficult to see out of my own limited scope of vision at the time, because it's very easy for me, and I think probably for some people in this pile, to catastrophize or not be able to see beyond the next few steps. So I just want to assure you, if you're feeling stagnant or stuck, that these things that you have been waiting on, these things that you've been working so hard towards will come to fruition, and you will be really happy about it, and your life will feel really awesome when it does. So congratulations, my pile ones. That is it for your reading. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care. If you selected pile 2, the Temple, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the Two of Swords, the Nine of Cups, the Ace of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and the Page of Swords. For your tea leaf reading cards, we got Sun and Bell. All right, my pile 2, so what does your life look like when it gets real good? What is it looking like? We have, at the start of your spread, this Two of Swords, which is a card of indecision and being closed off, not really making a move. And I think for a lot of you, this represents the energy that you might currently be in, where maybe you're aware of the things that you want out of your life. Like you're aware that you want to pursue a certain type of career, or you want to, it can even be as simple as you want to start dressing a certain way, or you want to improve your life in a specific way. You want to start dating, you want to go out more with your friends, whatever the thing is. It feels like you have knowledge of what it is that you want, but there's also this fear of going after it, because if you open yourself up, if you try for something, then there's a possibility of failing, is what I'm getting. And for a lot of you, you would rather kind of sit and wait for things to come to you, or hope that they would come to you, instead of making yourself vulnerable and trying to speed the process along, but also at the same time risking the feeling of disappointment or hurt by opening yourself up. And I completely understand this. I am someone who would really like to date at some point, but I also know that I have extreme avoidant attachment situation things going on, and for the longest time I did not try to pursue dating because it's really difficult for me. But it's really easy for me to be single because then I don't have to confront any of my triggers. But I just had this realization that in order for me to have the kind of love life that I want, I have to work on myself, which is terrible. So actually I had my first ever therapy appointment this Friday. Can you believe? But anyway, I digress. That's just an example of what it might be. But for you, it could even just be you really want friends, but you, when you see people that you think are cool, you don't take the chance to go up and talk to them. You don't ask them to hang out. It could be that you have thought about pursuing a hobby for a long time, but you never actually go after, you never actually started doing it, whatever the situation is. But the good news is that when your life gets really good, you will be taking all of these things that you've hoped for and wished for, as represented in the Nine of Cups, and you will be making them a reality. If you look at this Nine of Cups card, there's a genie lamp on it. So you will be in charge of making your wishes come true. And with 4 out of 5 of these cards being swords cards, this is all really like a mental change for you. This is all in your head, and this is something that, it might not seem profound on the outside to other people, but for you, this is a huge mindset shift. And that's also reflected in the Ace of Swords in the middle of your spread, which is about a new sense of clarity, a new mental philosophy that you will be entering. And that's from going from cutting yourself off from taking risk or taking chances into allowing yourself to chase after the things that you have been wishing for and grant those things for yourself, because you have the power to do that. And with the Eight of Swords here towards the end of your spread, the Eight of Swords is about being locked up by your own mental limitations and not seeing that you have the power to cut your way out. And the Page of Swords at the end of your spread, the Page of Swords is someone who cuts through things that are no longer serving them. So this Page of Swords is cutting through this Eight of Swords, this mental block that you have put on yourself that has been keeping you from achieving or going after the things that you really want. And the Page of Swords is also someone who's very passionate and communicative about the things that they want. So this Ace of Swords, this new mindset, this change that you have is going to be a lot about your sense of passion and your sense of expression. You will definitely be more assertive when it comes to getting the things you want, and you will be taking kind of a driver's seat role in your own manifestations and making things happen for you. And this change in your mindset is going to be what makes your life really awesome, because you are going to start having the things that you really want come into your life, whether that's new friendships, a new relationship, going after and trying new things, going to a dance class, learning a new language, going back to school, quitting the job that you really hate. Whatever it is that you have been scared of doing or holding yourself back from doing, you will have a mindset shift that allows you to be more open to going after the things you want. I just heard there's a poem, or maybe like an excerpt from a book or something, where the author says, I want the clarity of a disaster without the actual disaster. And what they meant by that was, like, if someone gets like struck by lightning, or if they have a near-death experience, usually they'll have this thing where it's like, I need to start really like doing the things that I wanted to do, because I could have died in that moment, and I hadn't accomplished all these things that I wanted to accomplish, and I didn't put myself out there, and I just realized all the regrets I would have if I ended things now. And so they kind of start living their life as if it might be the day where they don't survive the near-death experience. So I think that's almost the mindset that you'll be in. You'll have the clarity of the disaster without the disaster. For your first tea leaf reading card, we got Sun, which says happiness and well-being, which goes with this Nine of Cups and this Ace of Swords and this Page of Swords. As you begin to embody the Page of Swords energy of really not being afraid to go after what you want, and being assertive, being passionate, and kind of charging at the things that are for you with full speed, you will achieve more happiness, because you'll be fulfilling these things that you've been wishing for and hoping for in your life that are represented by the Nine of Cups. Your second tea leaf reading card is Bell, which says announcement. And this is reflected by the Ace of Swords in the middle of your spread. And I think the announcement in general, it might actually be a specific thing. Like I said, you want the clarity of a disaster. It could be a specific incident in your life that makes you realize all the ways in which you have been holding yourself back, that will kind of flip the switch for you on this mindset and make you realize the ways in which you have been limiting yourself and resigning yourself to staying in one place. And you will ultimately be freeing yourself from that Eight of Swords energy. So your archetype card that you chose, the pile marker, the Temple, is all about being able to find the divinity in the mundane. And I think that your mindset change and learning that the wonderful things that you want to happen in your life are not going to happen if you continue to be afraid of the world and limit yourself from trying new things and going after the things that you want. If you do not recognize the magic of being who you are and having all of this capability to build your own reality. And when your life is at its best, you will have come to that realization, and you will definitely be pursuing all of the things that make you happy and not really taking anyone trying to knock you down. You will be very good at standing up for yourself, and that's a beautiful place to be in. So congratulations, my pile twos. Thank you for watching. I put out a new video once a week. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and take care. Bye. If you selected pile 3, the Forest, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the Eight of Pentacles, the Star in reverse, the Three of Swords, the Page of Wands, and the Tower in reverse. For your tea leaf reading cards, we got Skull and Tent. So, my pile threes, what is your life like at its best? What is the thing that you have to look forward to when your life gets really good? What are the circumstances surrounding it? So this time in your life, this really wonderful time, will come about after you go through a difficult time in your life. And the reason why I say that is because we start off this thread with this Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles is putting in hard work and having worked on something for a long time and even enjoying the work that you do. But we have the Star in reverse next to it. So the things that you wish for from all this work that you put in, the thing that you were hoping for to achieve, the thing that gave you hope in life, ends up falling apart. So what could this be? For some of you, for a lot of you, I'm hearing that this in particular is a romantic relationship. So you could have invested a lot of time into someone. Maybe you were really committed, you lived together, you were engaged, you were married even, but it didn't work out for whatever reason. It just was not the fairy tale ending that you thought it would be. For others of you, it could be a career choice. Maybe you studied really hard or you worked really hard to build yourself up in a career, and then you got there and you realized that it wasn't what you wanted. And it can be really difficult to say that all of this time that I've put into something ultimately is not going to give me back the result that I want. But the universe wants to let you know that this is not just an ending, it's a redirection towards something that will ultimately serve you better and make you happier and make your life more fulfilling in the end. Because you will be in this Three of Swords, and maybe you already are in this Three of Swords energy, this feeling of heartbreak and grief. And something that I'm hearing, looking at this card very strongly, is that the eyes on this card remind me of the cover of The Great Gatsby, the book. And I'm hearing the song Green Light by Lorde. And in The Great Gatsby, Jay Gatsby, the titular Gatsby, he kind of looks across the water and he sees this green light on the dock of the girl that he's in love with, where she kind of shares a home with her husband, and he sees this green light almost as like a beacon of hope. He is holding on to the past so hard, but in the end, the thing that he has been holding on to and the thing that he has worked so hard for, I mean, he basically becomes like new money, and he situates himself into this societal group in order to kind of cling to the past or cling on to this thing that ended up not being what he thought it was, or ended up not working out the way that he wanted it to anyway. Which I think is indicative of kind of the journey you're on. You're Gatsby. You're trying to show someone your silk shirts and they're not into it, or it's just not going to work out, you know? But not necessarily a specific person. It could be that you have worked really hard to achieve a certain goal and it just has not worked out or will not work out. And it will feel devastating because it feels mentally like, I think you feel disappointed that you have invested so much in it. But like I said, I was also hearing the song Green Light by Lorde. And so there's kind of this dichotomy here where the green light in Jay Gatsby represents, longing and yearning to go back to the way things were, and recognizing that all the effort that you put in will not save something that has been weathered with time. And Green Light by Lorde, her green light is kind of a signal for her to be able to move on and move towards the future and move towards something better for her, while still recognizing all the ways in which the things of the past, the memories of the past, have been good for her in some ways and helped her a lot. Because Green Light by Lorde is kind of like a post-breakup song. It's about, she says in it, I'll come get my things, but I can't let go. She still feels so attached to the memories and the relationship and all the time that she has spent in the relationship or with this person, but she's looking forward to being able to break free and move towards the things that she has yet to see for herself. And so this pile really, to me, represents being able to transition your own green light from the Jay Gatsby yearning, feeling stuck on the past, not living up to the expectations of what you want to, kind of allowing yourself to say, okay, that happened, but now I'm going to free myself. That's represented by Lord's green light. So, and that kind of comes together in this next card in your spread, which is this Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is someone who finds new passions, new things to be excited about, new creative energy in their life. And this to me feels like adding color back into your world, especially with this kind of rainbow cloud next to this pitch black of the Three of Swords. It feels like you're gaining the color back in your life. You're starting to get your creative juices flowing. You're starting to see that this thing from your past being cut out opened yourself up to so many new possibilities. And when you make that transition, when you take your own green light and you recognize the ways how free you are and how much space you have to make your life what it is, that is when your life is going to get really good, because you will move on from this fear of change or fear of destruction or holding on to something that is no longer serving you or no longer good to you, into being able to try new things and experience new things. And I think that will be really good for you. And it will be a time in your life where you will look back on it and maybe you'll say, it was emotionally painful, but ultimately it really served to kind of make me who I am today and give me new levels of experience. And I'm really grateful for that. And the last card in your spread is this Tower in reverse. And the Tower in upright can be a pretty scary card to see in a tarot reading, because it indicates kind of a sudden upheaval or like a really dramatic change that can be pretty painful. And in reverse, and in particular in reverse at the end of the spread, what I'm hearing is that you have finally learned how to accept when things are no longer serving you. And because of that, you're no longer resistant to change or trying new things. And you needed this heartbreak or this feeling of grief or this feeling of this thing that you've been working really hard towards not working out in order to come into this new phase in your life where you have the freedom and the passion and the drive to try the new things, and you're not afraid of things not working out because you've already experienced what it's like to try new things and not have it work out. And that can be a freeing place to be in. And I think that's also represented by the pile marker you selected, this archetype card, the Forest, because the Forest archetype card is all about, things can be scary in the forest. It can get really dark. You don't know where you're going. You hear noises that can be scary. And it's easy to get lost, but you just kind of have to submerge yourself into it in order to also uncover its beauty, because you can go into the forest and see really cute animals, or you can kind of connect with nature in a way that you haven't before. And almost all of it depends on your mindset and opening yourself up to the possibility of, yes, this might be scary, but what will I get out of it? It's a temporary situation. And I think that once you get out of the darkness and you open yourself up to seeing this beautiful sky on top of you, once you get out of the trees, you see all of the beauty in the earth around you, and you notice how coming out of the darkness makes everything seem so much brighter. And that's also represented by the darkness and this Three of Swords, this feeling of grief, this feeling of loss, into this Page of Wands, this beautiful feeling of inspiration, of things moving forward. And with this Three of Swords card, this person is kind of crying in front of a door, and it feels like, right now, it feels like you might feel like the door has been closed, or you will feel like the door has been closed, but in actuality, it's just, there's so much open space around you. There's so much more for you to look at and move forward towards, and once you have that mindset switch, your life's going to get really amazing. You're going to have so much to look forward to. So your first tea leaf reading card says Skull, which says hidden secrets can harm you. And I think in particular, this is kind of the situation that leads up to this really nice moment in your life. This thing that has to break your heart first. So it could be literally a hidden secret that impacts like a romantic relationship. Like maybe you find out someone was keeping a secret from you and it ends this thing that you were working towards, or maybe you realize that the hidden secret was you kind of not being straightforward with yourself about what it is that you want. So maybe you've invested yourself into a career that you actually don't like and you're not enjoying, but you haven't really been honest with yourself about that. And then finally you are. And once you have that realization that you're not happy, or you don't feel like you're enjoying this thing that you've been putting time in, it can be really heartbreaking, but ultimately it's opening you up to the possibility of restructuring and being okay with change. And Tint is your second tea leaf reading card, which says temporary situation, and it also is reflected by the tint in the forest pile marker that you got. And so the temporary situation is this feeling of grief. So if you're feeling that now, and I think for a lot of you, you might be, the universe wants you to know that your life is going to get good, and that this thing is necessary in order to prepare you to going after things that more align with where you want to be and where you can go, and opening yourself up to more possibilities of life, and not resigning yourself to a particular situation that is no longer making you happy. And I think that's a beautiful place to be at. So that is it for my pile threes. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care. If you selected pile 4, the Orphan, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the Chariot, the 6 of Swords, the 9 of Wands, the 2 of Cups, and the 7 of Cups. For your tea leaf reading cards, we got 4-leaf clover and axe. All right, my pile 4s. So your first card in your spread is the Chariot. And the Chariot is representative of Cancerian energy. So some of you could be Cancers or have a prominent Cancer placement in your natal chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. But the energy of the Chariot is also, like I said, this very Cancerian energy of being both cardinal, in the sense that there's a strong sense of direction and kind of going after what you want and being victorious and having to put your foot down and use force to get where you need to be. But also, Cancer is known as being a very sensitive sign and someone who has kind of this soft, gooey center. And the Chariot can also represent kind of trying to strike a balance between this sense of vulnerability and also this cardinal kind of go-getter energy, trying to temper your sensitivity in order to push through and get what you want. And this message that I'm getting really strongly from this specific card is, if you look at this card, this person kind of has these leashes chained to these horses, and I keep hearing the Rolling Stones song Wild Horses, where Mick Jagger sings, "Wild horses couldn't drag me away." And to me, that's coming across as you being almost unmovable, unmalleable, unpenetrable. And I think it's because you have had to, I think for a lot of you, you are very sensitive people, but you also have embodied in your lifetime the orphan energy that is represented by this pile marker, this archetype card that you chose. And the orphan is someone who feels emotionally neglected or uncared for. And so I think for a lot of you, embodying this chariot energy was in response to that, where you now have to kind of put aside your sensitivities or your feelings of abandonment or your feelings of emotional neglect or your feelings of not being cared for in order to kind of push forward and continue moving on with your life and have victory and have success. And so I'm getting from this pile that the viewers of this pile are very independent people, but almost to the point where nothing seems to shake you, which is where I'm getting the wild horses can drag me away. It feels like you are hard to get to know, and because you've had to be independent, because you've had to rely on yourself and be your own parent in a way. And I'm not saying that the people who are viewing this pile necessarily have a bad relationship with their parents, but there's a lot that you have had to give to yourself and provide for yourself. And at first, this was really good energy to be in because the Chariot is also a card of victory. So this has made you victorious in a lot of things. You have accomplished a lot of things through this attitude that you have for yourself, where you can kind of hide or mask your vulnerabilities or your feelings of not being enough and turn it into motivation to go after the things you want really hard. And because of that, you have accomplished a lot in your life. But also with this Six of Swords next to it, what started off as this really wonderful coping mechanism has kind of transitioned, because the Six of Swords is a card of transitions, into this Nine of Wands, which is a feeling of defensiveness or having your walls up really high. And being kind of closed off and not letting anyone in, and almost like a fear of vulnerability or feeling like you could be hurt by other people really easily. And so I think you've almost kind of come to a place where you're almost too independent or too afraid of vulnerability, that now you feel like you've cut yourself off from the experiences of being known or letting your guard down or feeling what it's like to really put your trust into someone. And for the majority of you, I do think that this is in relationship specifically to your love life, because we have the Two of Cups next in your spread, which I consider to be kind of a love card. But this could also be about close relationships in general. So friendships, your relationships with your parents, your relationships with your co-workers, things like that. But either way, I get the sense that because you have your guard up, this is in particular a type of relationship that you feel you are missing from your life. So maybe you have your guard up and you don't really have friends right now, or you have your guard up and you find it really difficult to date because of that. And like I said, I do think for most of you that this is about love, but the universe wants you to know that these walls that you have been building up as kind of like a protective mechanism to protect you from tying yourself to someone who will abandon you or neglect you, that's kind of represented by this orphan archetype. You will be coming out of that and coming into a beautiful relationship. And for a lot of you, this is a love relationship, or it's a relationship where you feel really close to someone. So it could be a family member, a new friend group. You just have better working relationships with your coworkers. Whatever that situation is represented by this Two of Cups. And not only will you see your relationships improve, or your love life, your dating life, your friendships improve, you will also see a lot of the other areas of your life improve with the Seven of Cups at the end of your spread. Because the Seven of Cups, the seven different cups kind of represent different things that you might be wishing for, hoping for in your life. And in a spread like this, where it's your life at its best, these are all the things that are going to be coming in for you. So if you look really closely at this card, on the card there's 7 goldfish, and they all kind of have different things going on. So for example, one of them is wearing this like wreath around one of their fins, which represents victory. So accomplishments coming into your life. One of them is wearing like a gold chain, which represents wealth, so more money. There's two that are kind of coupled up, and that kind of goes with this Two of Cups. So new relationship, a new close friendship coming into your life. There's one that has these really beautiful fins, which represents maybe your outward appearance, feeling more beautiful, more handsome, more attractive. There's one that has these kind of sun rays bouncing off of them, so better health, feeling happier emotionally, your mental health improving. There's one that has this kind of like fake shark fin on, so being able to protect yourself without cutting yourself off to everything else in the world around you, so still feeling strong, still feeling protected. And then there's another one that has a blindfold on, so allowing yourself to trust more. And I think these are all the things that are coming into your life that maybe you have been unintentionally withholding yourself from, because you have turned this strong chariot energy into a level of defensiveness that makes it hard for good things or good people to enter into your life. But when your life is at its best, all of these things are going to be coming in for you, because you're going to learn how to kind of let these barriers down. And this is all represented in your tea leaf reading cards as well. So your first one says 4-leaf clover, great, good fortune. And that is represented by this Two of Cups and the Seven of Cups. These are all the great things that are coming in for you. And you're going to feel very lucky to have them in your life, especially if you are someone who has felt really emotionally neglected. It feels almost like a 180 to go from the orphan to the Two of Cups, because the orphan is someone who's alone, who feels abandoned, who feels like they don't have anyone. And then we go to the Two of Cups, which is this beautiful kind of symbiotic relationship. Your second tea leaf reading card says Axe, which says forces working against you. And I think the forces working against you are the forces working to break down this barrier that you've put up with the Nine of Wands in the center of your spread. All of these fears that you have of being vulnerable, all these fears that you have of being taken advantage of, all these fears of you have of someone coming into your life and then abandoning you, of losing the love that you let in. I think that the universe is working on chopping these down, on axing them away from your life to make room for this beautiful new relationship, this beautiful new friendship, and all these other wonderful things, this victory, this new wealth, this greater sense of confidence, in order to make room for those things in your life moving forward. And that is what your life is going to look like at its best. So congratulations, my pile force. That is it for your reading. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care.